What's going on, guys? MariK here, back with another Dragon Ball Super deck profile. When Namekians were first introduced into the game, we were all super excited to finally be getting some good Piccolo cards, good Namekian support in general. And while we didn't get quite what we were expecting, the deck does work as a mono green or even a multicolored Weenie Rush deck. And while we don't exactly have the best of leaders for it, we do have a handful of Namekian leaders, 3 of which are Piccolos and the Lord Slug leader. None of them really benefit the Namekian archetype. The Piccolo leader from set 4 does give a power boost to Namekian, so that's the leader we went with for this deck. Due to being a leader from set 4, he is very generic on the unawakened side. But on the awakened side, he has the permanent for Bond 2. If you have 2 Namekians, he gains critical. And when he attacks, you get to draw a card, choose Namekian, and give it 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. So you're giving your leader critical just by having Namekians in play. And he can give a power boost to one of your battle cards as well. So it's about the best leader we've got for generic Namekian support. The first card in the deck is going to be Planet Namek. It's your field card. It's going to be your turn 1 play every single game. You're going to have to mulligan for this card if you really want to get the most out of this deck. It doesn't do anything when you put it into play, and that's why you want to get it on your very first turn. When you activate its ability, once per turn for 1 green energy, you get to discard 1 card, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose a Namekian with an energy cost 2 or less, and play it. So turn 1, you want to put this into play. And then turn 2, you can use its ability to go ahead and get out a battle card for 1 energy. Most of the battle cards in this deck are 2 energy, so they're all going to be playable with Planet Namek. And this will allow you to quickly swarm the board with Namekians without having to invest too much of your energy resources into playing your cards. That leaves you open energy for other cards, as well as not having to charge a card every single turn. You don't need a whole lot of energy to be able to play this deck. Your first target for Planet Namek is going to be Nail, the Namekian Ace. If you have another battle card in play, when he attacks, you get to draw a card, and he gets plus 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. So that's a pretty solid 1 cost for you due to Planet Namek's ability. Then up next, you have Piccolo Jr., Driven to Fight. Functions very similarly to Nail. He's got Barrier, though, which gives him a bit of an advantage. And he's got Bond 2, but this Bond 2 requires Namekian, which doesn't hinder the deck at all because your entire lineup is going to be Namekians. However, when this card attacks, he only draws a card. He doesn't get the plus 5,000 power, so your leader can kind of give him that additional power boost to get a little bit more damage in. But the plus side to this card is that he gets you another draw. So card advantage with Namekians is really not something you're going to struggle with. Your third option is going to be Speed Attack Piccolo Jr. He's just a 15,000 crit attacker. Crit is always a powerful ability, and when you can start swarming the board with crit attackers for 1 energy apiece, that's going to really overwhelm your opponent quickly. Your fourth target is going to be Namekian Duo Purina. This is one of my personal favorites just because I like the way his ability works. His activate main says once per turn you choose Namekian from your hand and put it under him. You draw 1 card, and he gets plus 10,000 and critical for the duration of the turn. So you get to draw a card to replace the one you put underneath him, and he gains 10,000 in crit for the turn. That is a really powerful ability. And again, 20,000 crit coming at your opponent for 1 energy really allows you to put some early game pressure on your opponent. Alongside the waves of 2-drop Namekians that are coming at your opponent, your main combo in this deck is going to focus on Nail, Pride of Namek. At the end of a battle in which you combo with this card from your hand, if your leader is a Namekian, you can play it in rest mode. His activate main lets you choose another Namekian in your battle area, place him under that card, and that card gets plus 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. This card being free to combo to put into play is what starts basically everything. So you're going to want to take this card. You're going to want to, you can combo it whenever you need to, but you're going to ideally want to wait until you have a Nail in play. So you have that Namekian Ace in play. You're going to put him underneath, and then you're going to take these 2 cards that are now stacked on top of each other, and you're going to evolve them into Life or Death Nail. His permanent says if there are 2 or more Namekian cards under this card, he gains Barrier and Double Strike. And that's where this little mini combo comes into play between Nail, Pride of Namek, and Nail, Namekian Ace. When you play Life or Death Nail, you can choose a card from your life, add it to your hand, and if you do, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring Barrier, and switch it to rest mode. So then it'll allow you to either run it over with Nail or with one of your other cards. and the nail has 20,000 power and double strike, which can also be powered up via some of the other cards in your deck. Now, when you're swarming at your opponent with these little weenies, and you're, doing little damage here and there, you got your crit attackers, you're drawing a lot of cards, you've got plenty of stuff to work with when it comes to defending your cards, when it comes to comboing to make sure your attacks go through. And Life or Death Nails is a cheap finisher that you can put onto the board. Everything in this deck that comes out via Planet Namek is 2 cost, and Life or Death Nail you evolve onto a nail for 2 energy as well. So everything in the deck is relatively cheap, and when you're swinging at your opponent that fast with that many cards, they really don't have a lot to respond with. They're either going to take all that damage, and they're going to be able to combo out of a lot of it because you're giving them a good chunk of card advantage. But at the same time, the earlier you're putting in damage, the less they have to work with when they're trying to retaliate back because they're going to have less energy. And then that's when Life or Death Nail comes in with Double Strike, and you can combo him up and push for game. Then we've got our super combo, Defensive Stance Piccolo. You could also run Sayonal or whatever his name was from the Tournament of Power set, but I like this Piccolo better, I like the art better, and really there's no difference aside from this one you can activate at 4 life, the other one you can activate at 5 life. You could also play the green Vegeta GT that has the sparking, lets you play it, but it didn't go with the theme, so fuck that. Both the Piccolo and the Sayonal could also be put into play via Planet Namek. Wouldn't really help you too much unless you plan to use it during that turn, but it is still an option. Then we've got Sun Goten, Deluge of Power, just to kind of protect your little weenie guys, because they are relatively weak, and if you're going to attack with them, you're going to need something to keep them alive, and that extra 10,000 boost will definitely suffice. Then we've got Assimilate. It's a 0 cost card. Lets you choose a green or yellow Namekian, energy cost 2 or less from your deck, and add it to your hand. That will let you get whatever the hell you want from your deck. If you need the yellow Pride of Namek to start that chain to get to your Life or Death Nail, or if you need to get the Namekian Ace so that you can play it because it's not popping up when you activate Planet Namek, that's another option as well. Or you can just add your super combo Piccolo to your hand. A lot of flexibility with this card, and I feel like it's a good addition to the deck to get you whatever pieces you need. And if you have both pieces to the nail puzzle, then you can always just search out your super combo, which doesn't hurt you at all, and it does help you thin out your deck a little bit. Then we've got the extra card, Special Beam Cannon, to give your leader that extra 10,000 boost, especially when you're pushing for damage when you get that crit ability. This card can also be used to defend your leader as well, and either way, you're still going to get the secondary ability of making your opponent discard a card. So this works really well offensively and defensively. You can't use it on your little weenie guys, but in all honesty, if you're rushing your opponent and trying to take down their life, they may or may not care to attack your leader at all, and then this can be used strictly on offensive while they're dealing with trying to kill all your little guys. Then for the counterplay, we have Sacrifice, which is basically the same as having a sparking negate like Shocking Death Ball, with the exception of this card doesn't care what your life's at, it doesn't care how many cards are in your drop area, all it cares about is whether or not your leader is a Namekian, and since we're playing the Piccolo leader, it is Namekian, and so you can use this card to negate an attack without paying any energy for it. Then the final card in the deck is easily the best yellow extra card we've had in the game since the game's release. It is Crusher Ball, your counterplay card. Since you're only spending about 1, maybe 2 energy tops during each of your turns, you're going to have energy to spare for cards like Sacrifice, Special Beam Cannon, and Crusher Ball. Being able to put one of your opponent's cards in rest mode as soon as it's played prevents them from getting their abilities when they attack, and prevents them from doing additional damage to you as well as KOing your Namekians. This is probably my favorite yellow extra card, and I feel like it is the best card, especially now with so many bigger cards being easier to play in the format. I feel like Crusher Ball is just too good not to run if you have yellow energy. I understand we only have 3 other yellow cards in the deck, being the 2 nail cards and then Assimilate, but if you don't need to play Assimilate, if you're not really hurting for one of your combo pieces, then you could easily combo it You could also combo the Life or Death Nail. You're probably not going to need more than one of them. You're definitely not going to need more than 2 or 3, so if you happen to draw into multiples, you can charge that. And you really only need 1 yellow energy for that Crusher Ball as well, so the rest of your energy can be green. But that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this deck profile. Honestly, Namekians are a lot of fun to play. They're not exactly going to be competitive until we ever get more Namekian support, because really, fuck all, we haven't. I think the most we got was, we got 1 Piccolo in the power booster that says, hey, you can play a Namekian 4 or less from your hand for free, but that doesn't help this deck at all. I mean, besides straight up playing the Nail, but he doesn't get his abilities unless he has Namekians underneath him anyway, so really, there just isn't a whole lot of support to go around for Namekians. It's a fun local level competitive deck. Now, I have beaten Universe 7 Victory Strike with Namekians with a similar strategy to this, just it was all the green support from set 4. This was way back in the Tournament of Power days when everybody was running Universe 7 and Victory Strike, and the Universe 7 Frieza was a pain in the ass, and we just had to bum rush them, just aggro with all the little Namekian weenies, and we're just rushing through. And you're just doing so much damage that there's nothing they can really do to stop that, and they end up eventually comboing away their resources and Victory Strike. The deck can steal some wins by being super aggressive, but I would not recommend taking it to a bigger event unless you find a way to break this deck. I did not. I also did not try to. I don't think the Namekians have enough support, but it would be really great if Bandai would give us more legitimate, serious Namekian support instead of it just being what seemed like filler in set 4, along with being kind of just more filler in Clash of Fates. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you've ever tried to play Namekians, if you've had any success with them. I would love to hear from you. If you got any suggestions on how we can make this better, I'm sure Nail might not be the way to go, but it did give us the option to not have to worry about playing so much energy, since you can evolve him for 2 energy, and you can play the 2 Nails for 1 and 0 energy respectively. So that was just kind of what we were going for, was quick and cheap and aggressive and effective. I know I can't be the only Namekian fan out there, so if you do happen to give this deck a try, or something similar to this, let me know in the comments below how well it works out for you. With that, though, we're going to go ahead and get the freak out of here, and we'll see you guys in the next video.